this is Steve from Classified Captures, and have we got a lineup of clips for you this week. If you live in North Carolina, chances are you already know what I'm about to talk about. If you don't, allow me to be your informant. The footage on your screen is just one of the many strange and creepy sights coming out of North Carolina recently. This was captured by a homeowner who was driving home one evening when they saw something strange moving through the woods near their property. Curious and a bit disturbed, they decided to check their home security camera, and what they found was chilling. The same creature they'd seen earlier had actually hopped right into their backyard. Getting the chance to properly look at it now, they realized that the figure looked humanoid but wasn't quite human. Its skin is pale, almost grayish, and it appears completely naked. The back legs are longer and oddly jointed, while the arms, though human-like, stretch too long to be natural. The most disturbing part is the way it moves. It crawls on all fours but leaps over the fence effortlessly. Now, what makes this even stranger is that some time ago, a man in North Carolina made a 911 call describing a creature that sounded eerily similar to this one. Could this be the same being that's been lurking in the woods for years, or is it something new entirely? This sighting comes from Indonesia, where locals had been sharing footage of this bizarre black clusters falling from the sky. At first, it looks like a dark cloud descending toward the ground, but as it gets closer, you can see that it's not smoke or ash. It looks like thick black bubbles, a mass of dirty, sooty bubbles just dropping from above. What's even more disturbing is that several people have filmed these same black bubble-like clumps already on the ground after the fall. They appear slimy, sticky, and unnatural-like, some kind of chemical residue or biological waste. No one seems to know exactly what it is or where it came from. Some think it could be industrial fallout, maybe from a nearby factory, or pollution carried by the wind. Others believe it genuinely fell from the sky, possibly from a passing aircraft or something else. If this really did come from the sky, well, what caused it? In 2018, Bayer, a household name in pharmaceuticals, took over Monsanto, one of the biggest agricultural chemical companies in the world, in a deal worth around $68 billion. At first glance, it looks just like a business, right? A simple corporate move. But here's the question. What would a pharmaceutical company want with a pesticide giant? Nobody knows for sure. Maybe it really is just business, but some people believe there is something much bigger going on behind the scenes, and to understand why, we have to look at what each company actually does. Bayer's specialty is medicine. They develop drugs for all kinds of conditions, including treatments for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Monsanto, on the other hand, produces a powerful herbicide called glyphosate. You may not have seen it, but you've definitely eaten food sprayed with it. It's everywhere, on wheat, corn, soybeans, and almost anything that grows out of the ground. Now here is where things really get uncomfortable. Glyphosate has been linked to non-Hodgkin lymphoma, the same disease Bayer makes medicine for. Think about that for a second. Monsanto makes the chemical connected to the illness, and Bayer sells the drug that treats it, the cause and the cure, both owned by the same parent company. It's a perfect circle, one that keeps the profits flowing no matter which side of the problem people are on. And that's just one example of how the system works against the everyday person. The food market is not the only place where this happens. It's just one of the few places we can actually see the pattern. I've more to say about this, but maybe for my own safety, we should move on to the next clip. We all know that Big Pharma and all of these big companies are as corrupt as hell. So I don't even understand how people are even questioning what goes on anymore. I'm not gonna say. There's a chilling ghost story that's been circulating in Kentucky, and it's tied to a dark bit of local lore. The story goes that a man driven by rage after discovering his wife's infidelity took both her life and that of their child. Since then, people in the area believe that the child's spirit roams the streets at night, restless and lost. Recently, a semi-truck driver was making his usual night run when his dash cam captured something standing by the side of the road. When you look at the footage closely, the figure's proportions resemble those of a child. Many drivers who have taken that same road claim to have seen the same eerie figure, often right in the middle of the road. Some even say their vehicles pass straight through it like it's made of mist. The truck driver is convinced that what he saw was the ghost of the child, but others argue it could be the man himself cursed to wander forever for what he did. Either way, that stretch of road has earned quite a reputation, and anyone who drives in it after dark can't help but keep their eyes fixed on the shoulder, half expecting to see that ghostly figure standing there. Lynxes are real creatures, but their mystical appearance often makes people think they belong more to myth than nature. Their piercing eyes, tufted ears, and graceful movements give them an otherworldly aura. But this recent sighting from Spain takes that feeling to a whole new level. A local captured footage of what appears to be a white Iberian lynx, and it looks absolutely unreal. Its fur is snow white, and its stance is like something pulled out of a fantasy world. This footage has been analyzed, and so far it seems authentic, which means this could be the first documented white Iberian lynx in the world. Just looking at it feels strange. People online are fascinated. Some even say it could symbolize change, a shift in nature, or a rare event about to happen. Who knows? Maybe next time it won't just be a lynx. Maybe we'll really see a unicorn. Everybody's got headphones these days, especially the Bluetooth ones. They're small, portable, and way more convenient than dealing with tangled wires or cords getting caught on your arms when you move. But what if I told you that the same convenience we love might actually be doing something dangerous to us? A recent experiment has gone viral online. Someone placed a frequency reader beside a Bluetooth earbud, and immediately the device started picking up intense signals. When they added the second earbud to the other side, the reader went absolutely crazy. These earbuds might be emitting electromagnetic frequencies that could be interfering with our brainwaves. Some users have even claimed that wearing them for too long gave them migraines, dizziness, or fatigue. Now, this hasn't been fully proven, but the thought of those invisible signals pulsing between your ears all day long is enough to make you think twice. That's why some people are switching back to old-school wired headphones, saying they'd rather deal with tangled cords than cooked brains. So do you still trust them, or are you going back to wired? Let me know in the comments. There's been a lot of talk lately surrounding the underwater and UFO-related documentation. Now, with the launch of Enigma app, people all around the world have started submitting their own findings, and what they've been showing up from beneath our oceans is beyond strange. The first clip that's been circulating comes from Florida, filmed by a group of men out in a boat late at night. As they were cruising through open waters, they noticed a massive green glow emanating from beneath the surface. The light was intense and circular, and when they drove closer, they found a second glowing spot, almost identical to the first, just a few meters away. Whatever these were, they weren't natural lights you'd expect to see in the water. Then there's a second clip taken off the coast of San Diego. This one looks even stranger. Instead of green, this glow is whitish, and within it, something seems to be moving. You can make out what looks like tentacle-like appendages shifting and coiling beneath the surface. Some are saying it's just bioluminescent jellyfish, but the way this thing moves doesn't quite match normal sea life. Now, both sightings were reported within the same week, both along coastlines notorious for UFO and USO activity. Some theorize these glowing phenomena might be alien crafts using the ocean as a hiding place, while others think they're experimental military drones or even AI-driven submersible tech not yet disclosed to the public. But there's always the chance these are just rare luminous organisms, but two identical events on opposite sides of the country? Well, that's a tough coincidence. But what do you think?
It's getting brighter, yeah.
They're pointing around like this.
Yo, that shit's crazy. Look like a tornado or something.
This baby monitor image is one of those that makes your skin crawl the more you look at it. The mother who shared it says she has only one child, and the baby you can clearly see is asleep in the cot. But on the left side of the room, another child-shaped figure appears, faint and ghostly, standing there watching. It's translucent and yet so defined that you can make out its small stature and childlike posture. But the part that really sends chills down your spine is what's hovering above it. It is a grotesque face-like apparition. Now, the mother insists that there was no one else in the room or toys that could have caused this, and baby monitors, especially the night vision types, are notorious for catching things that our eyes can't see in real time. Some people online think it might be a spirit child, and this theory fits with many beliefs around infant guardians or mimic spirits. Others fear it could be a demonic or parasitic entity known to take the form of children to get close unnoticed. Then there are those who claim it's simply a case of infrared interference or a reflection, but even that doesn't explain the face above the apparition. A tech company from Norway has just unveiled something. It's this home care humanoid robot called Neo. It's designed to act like your personal house help. It can cook, clean, do your laundry, handle chores, and even welcome visitors into your home. Basically, it's your personal assistant, maid, and butler all in one machine. Neo costs around $20,000 and it's said to have a 4-hour battery life, and for those who can't afford to pay that all at once, there's a payment plan just under $500 a month, which makes it surprisingly affordable for an actual humanoid robot. Now, this is where things get a little unsettling. As fun and convenient as this sounds, letting a robot clean while you relax, go out, or hang with your friends also means these machines are entering our homes. They'll be around our children, our private spaces, and hear our conversations. It's exciting, yes, but it's also kind of eerie, because when you think about it, it starts small. Today it's cleaning your dishes and folding your clothes. Tomorrow, who knows? It could be parenting your kids. In this image, we see what's supposed to be a simple family photograph of a woman holding a newborn sitting calmly in the living room. But then when you look closer at the right side of the picture, there appears to be this pale, ghostly hand-like shape stretching toward the baby. Now, the family reportedly has no history of strange occurrences in that home, and no mention of a recently deceased relative. What makes this even more chilling, because if there's no logical ghost story behind it, what was it? Some people believe that these could be protective spirits, ancestors, or even lost energies drawn to that innocence. However, interpret it as a certain dark or parasitic entity if you want, but it might be drawn to that same energy, especially around emotionally charged moments like childbirth or family gatherings. However, skeptics argue that it's all just a hoax, but the eeriness here is how defined and intentional those shapes look, like they're actively reaching for the child. This is a NASA live feed. We see a single bright light moving smoothly across the darkness of space, and behind it, a cluster of smaller lights all moving in perfect sync, following like a pack. Now, what makes this unsettling is how coordinated the motion is. They don't drift apart like debris, they don't flicker like reflections, but they move as one, like a formation. And that's what sparked all the theories. Some say this could be connected to 3I Atlas. If you remember, 3I Atlas already has that unnatural trajectory and unexpected breakup pattern, so people think maybe this is a fragment convoy of it, or even an escorting formation. Others lean on the alien craft theory, claiming that what NASA captured might not be a fleet or unidentified objects moving through space. What do you think? Most of the time, when people see strange lights in the sky, the first word that comes to mind is orbs, because that's usually what they are: floating, glowing spheres that appear in the sky. So when this man spotted a few bright lights hovering in the night sky, he assumed it was the same story. But then he decided to zoom in, and that's where things get freaky. Instead of simple glowing orbs drifting around, what he caught on camera looks far more complex. The lights weren't separate, they were arranged in a formation connected to what seemed like one solid structure. Around them, faintly visible, were propeller-like shapes circling the lights like fans. Now, it was dark, so the body of the object couldn't be seen clearly. Whatever this thing was, it didn't behave like a plane, and it didn't look like any known drone either. Some skeptics suggest it could indeed be a drone, but judging by how large and distant the object appeared, that would have to be a massive piece of tech. Others are convinced it's a UFO, maybe even one of those unidentified aerial vehicles that have been popping up more frequently. Because if this isn't human-made, then someone or something is flying over us with technology we clearly don't understand. This image was taken at the old West Virginia Penitentiary, and if you know anything about that place, you already know it's soaked in dark history. Decades of violence, isolation, and death. Many people say the energy inside those walls is heavy. At first glance, the picture looks ordinary, but when you look closely, you start to notice it. A faint outline, almost invisible at first, but the longer you stare, the clearer it becomes. The form of a figure. You can make out the shape of a head, the slope of shoulders, and the flow of what looks like a purple dress hanging faintly in the air. And just above that, dark hair. What makes this even creepier is how subtle it is. Penitentiaries, especially old ones like this, are hot spots for exactly that kind of phenomenon. Some paranormal investigators believe that these spirits are residual hauntings. So what say you? You'd think being clean is supposed to keep you healthy, right? But according to a study done in Europe, that might not entirely be the case. Researchers found that women who frequently use strong cleaning detergents and sprays actually end up with lung damage comparable to someone who smoked every day for 10 to 20 years. Yeah, you heard that right. Just by cleaning your home, you might be doing the same kind of harm as puffing on cigarettes for decades. The reason is that those cleaning agents contain ammonia, chlorine, and other harsh chemicals that float in the air when you clean. When you breathe them in, they irritate and slowly scar your lung tissue over time. The effect is so subtle that you won't even notice it happening until your lungs start to lose their capacity. So if you're someone who loves keeping things spotless, or maybe even a bit of a clean freak, it's time to take some precautions like wearing gloves and a mask, keeping your windows open, or turning on a fan for ventilation. I mean, come on! How stupid do people have to be to not realize this is an actual thing? If you're gonna spray chemicals around, you're gonna inhale chemicals, and regardless of whether they're natural chemicals or man-made or whatever, nothing is supposed to be going into your lungs except for clean air. If you stick smoke in there, if you stick chemicals in there, anything foreign, at some point it's gonna screw you up. The person filming this video said they were just out in the woods, minding their business, when suddenly they got that gut feeling that someone or something was watching them. So they pulled out their camera and began filming the tree line slowly panning across the forest, and that's when they caught it. There, standing partially hidden behind a tree, is what looks like a dark figure. It doesn't move, but it doesn't blend naturally either. It's just there. You can make up what seems to be a head and shoulders, but the rest of it is unclear. The person filming swears it wasn't a person, saying it gave off an overwhelming feeling of dread, like they were being stalked by something that wasn't supposed to be there. Now, some think this could be a shadow between the trees. Others believe it's a forest entity, maybe even something demonic. And given how eerily motionless it stands, staring back, well, it's not hard to see why those theories are gaining traction. So what do you think? So here is something you probably didn't hear much about. Vietnam recently shut down around 86 million bank accounts. Why? Because people had to confirm their identity using biometrics like their face or fingerprint. The official reason was to move closer to a central bank digital currency system. Sounds distant, right? Like something that would never affect you, but here's the thing. Europe is heading in the same direction. Here's how it all started. Back in 2022, the Vietnamese government launched something called Project 6. The goal was to create one massive digital identity system. This new system connects everything about a person, their bank details, medical history, insurance information, work data, all of it, to one single biometric profile. Basically, your entire life is linked to your face or your fingerprint. Then in July of this year, the next stage kicked in. Every account, whether business or personal, had to be verified using biometric data. That means control over all financial activity slowly moves towards one central point, the central bank. And once that happens, the bank, or rather the state behind it, can decide what you can or cannot do with your own money. They could say what you're allowed to buy, what you're not allowed to buy, whether you can save, invest, or even travel. They would see every transaction, every move, every detail of your life. Now here is where it gets really close to home. The United Kingdom has already made digital IDs mandatory, and the European Union is racing to introduce its own version. You can be sure it will happen sooner than you think, and when it does, the amount of control governments will have over ordinary citizens will be unlike anything we have seen before. Every dictator in history would have dreamed of that kind of power. When that system is fully in place, it'll not just change how money works, it could redefine freedom itself. Some say it'll mark the end of democracy as we know it. I just have 3 letters for you guys, W-E-F. If you don't know what those letters mean, look them up, and all of this will be explained to you. We are too complacent in the world. If these people just realized that the people in position of power are actually us, because we stood up and just said no, not as a country, not as a continent, as a world, just turned around and said no, there's nothing they could do. I think we're going to get back to a point at some point where we're going to take the money back by going back to the oldest system in the world. If we all just went back to bartering again, none of this would matter. These 1% fucking corporate corrupt pieces of shit would be absolutely screwed. By now, anyone who's been following the internet has probably been asking the same question. What on earth happened with 3i Atlas on October the 29th? The date came, the hype was massive, and then nothing. No blinding lights in the sky, no comet sightings, no mothership appearing above the clouds. It's like the entire story evaporated overnight. And that's exactly what's making people uneasy. But here's where it gets freaky. A few Harvard scientists allegedly called out NASA for not being transparent about the Atlas situation, suggesting that NASA knew exactly what was coming and somehow managed to divert or hide the entire event from public view. And it doesn't stop there. Reports are coming out that European satellites still have Atlas on their radar without public confirmation. No mainstream news outlets are touching it, which makes it all the more suspicious. If Atlas were just a comet, why would it still be pinging active radar systems? Then there's the photo of an object that supposedly appeared online right after the 29th. People claim it shows something massive in the clouds, something that looked nothing like a comet, more like a structure, an outline of something mechanical, artificial. But of course, there is no confirmation whatsoever. So, was Atlas ever real? Did NASA hide it from us? Or was it an alien craft cloaked behind a government distraction? Or was this all a global social experiment to measure just how far people would go chasing the next big apocalypse story? Now, a lot of people are fearing that Hollywood is at it again. There have been some recent images and videos of Selena Gomez, and she's been in the spotlight for quite a while now with her TV shows, her marriage, and her recent music release. But people are starting to notice something strange. In a new music video, the still images that were shared online show a Selena Gomez who looks different. The facial structure, her cheeks, and everything look puffier, almost like an entirely different person. Now, that's not all. There are also new photographs of her from live events, interviews, and PR appearances, and guess what? She looks different there too. And then there are her TikTok videos, and again, she looks different. So that's 3 different versions of Selena Gomez circulating online right now. Some people argue that these clips and images might have been taken at different times, which could explain the change, but take a closer look. Doesn't this look familiar? We've seen this kind of thing happening over and over again in Hollywood, where a celebrity appears all over social media and suddenly they look like a completely different person. Some are saying this could be cloning, others believe it's due to some kind of medical procedure or medication. We have no idea what's really going on. But if there's one thing we've learned from Hollywood, it's that things aren't always what they seem. So what do you think is happening to Selena Gomez? We've all heard of the infamous Area 51, the secretive US military base surrounded by endless conspiracies from alleged alien hideouts to human experiments, secret technologies, and underground facilities. There's been no shortage of mystery surrounding that place. But did you know that there's a version of Area 51 in Egypt? Yes, it's called Zawiya El Aryan. Now, this site is located not too far from Cairo, and it's heavily restricted. What makes it so mysterious is that there's almost no information about what actually goes on there. The area is said to contain a massive unfinished pyramid, sometimes referred to as the Layer Pyramid, and deep beneath it there's an underground shaft that descends several meters into the earth. The shaft leads to what looks like a huge subterranean chamber carved directly into the bedrock. No one knows what it's built for, but people who've studied the site claims that there are machine-like tool marks all around the stone walls, suggesting that it may not have been built by ordinary ancient methods. What's even more suspicious is that for decades now, the Egyptian military has completely sealed off the area. No tourists, no archaeologists, or media have access to the place. It's officially listed as a restricted military zone, and just like Area 51, this secrecy has fueled theories that the Egyptian government might be hiding something else down there. Some say it's an ancient alien base, others think it's a portal site or a hidden technological vault left by an advanced civilization. In the paranormal community, dolls are known to be some of the most haunted objects people can own, especially the vintage ones. Unlike new factory-made dolls, these older ones seem to carry something else, some kind of energy or attachment. Now, a homeowner recently shared some truly unsettling footage from inside their home. They'd set up security cameras, and in one of the rooms right by the doorway sat an old porcelain doll on a small table. Everything seemed normal, until one night. In the middle of the night, the camera captured the doll moving. At first, it looked subtle, but when the homeowner checked the next frame, the doll was no longer facing forward. It was turned sideways, almost as if it was peeking from the side of the bed. That's when the family realized something wasn't right. They were so terrified that they refused to sleep in that room afterwards. Some people believe the doll might be possessed, others say it could be a spirit attachment or even a residual haunting tied to the doll's past owner. What do you think? After moving into a new home, a man began experiencing strange, unexplainable activity, and what started as small noises turned into something far more unsettling. For weeks, he'd been hearing odd thumping and scratching sounds coming from his attic, especially late at night. At first, he brushed it off, assuming it could be raccoons or rodents nesting up there. But one evening, while home alone, the noise became so loud and persistent that he finally decided to investigate. He pulled down the attic stairs, climbed up carefully with a flashlight, and scanned every corner but saw nothing. So to get to the bottom of it, he decided to set up a motion sensor camera and left it recording overnight. The next day, he checked the footage, and that's where things got strange. There were no visible movements at first, but you could clearly hear the same loud noises in the dark. Then, at the far end of the attic, just past the edge of the light, you could make out what appears to be a humanoid figure barely distinguishable from the shadows. It seems to shift slightly. The man was shaken. He went back up the next day to check again, but once more nothing was there. Some viewers say they see a figure in the shadows with a head, shoulders, and even movement, while skeptics argue it's just shadows caused by the camera's low light. Still, given that he's been hearing noises and sensing strange energy in the house since moving in, the man is convinced it's something. So what do you think?
I heard a noise, and I came out here and this door was open and now it just shut by itself.
A man was jolted awake in the middle of the night after hearing a strange, almost unearthly noise coming from the darkness outside his home. Startled, he grabbed his phone and rushed out to check, but what he caught on camera is what's really making people uneasy. Outside, you can see his dog standing completely still, all facing the same direction, staring into the pitch-black darkness beyond the edge of the yard. What's strange, though, is that none of them are barking. Now, that's not typical behavior for dogs, especially guard dogs. Normally, the moment they sense movement or a stranger, they bark or charge, but here, it's as if they're too afraid to react or maybe confused by what they're sensing. You can also hear the eerie sound in the background, and it's hard to describe. Some say it sounds animal-like, while others claim it's something mechanical or distorted, like a low growl mixed with static. Some also argue that the dog's odd behavior was a sign of instinctive fear, something humans can't detect. But if that's true, then what exactly were they sensing out there in the dark? Was it an animal, a strange natural sound, or something? And why leave the dogs out there like that? But it could also be that the sound was added to the post because dogs wouldn't stay quiet through something like that, or that intense, surely. Some men in Hong Kong got the surprise of their lives after hopping into a taxi. What they found inside looked more like a mini tech hub than a regular cab. Right in front of the dashboard, there were about 8 smartphones all turned on and mounted nearby across the front panel, each one running. It looks insane, like the driver was running some kind of hacking operation or digital scam from his car. But according to local reports, there's actually a method behind the madness. These drivers use multiple phones so they can run several transportation apps at once, from Uber to Grab, Bolt, HK Taxi, and others. Each phone is linked to a separate platform, allowing them to get constant ride requests without waiting for one app to refresh or assign a new passenger. Think of it like this. While one app is looking for a customer, another might actually be connected him to a ride, so with 8 or more phones, he's practically guaranteed non-stop bookings. It's a clever but extreme form of multitasking, but it's unsafe and distracting while driving, especially with that many glowing screens flashing notifications at once. Can we call it next-level dedication or just dangerously overboard? Next, we have a Trailcam image that captures a seemingly ordinary deer. If you look closely, you'll notice that the antlers of this deer have grown in an abnormal position compared to the typical configuration seen in a regular deer. One antler appears to be in its normal position, while the other seems to be playing a kind of hide-and-seek game, growing downward and ending up right above the deer's eye. Is this a shapeshifter? Could this be an alien creature, or is there some experiment being carried out by the government? While it might initially intrigue paranormal enthusiasts, this is simply a deer with a physical defect. While this is indeed an unusual sight, it's not unheard of in the animal kingdom. Animals, like humans, can exhibit physical defects due to various factors such as genetics, prenatal trauma, or environmental influences. In some cases, these anomalies can result in unique and curious physical features. In this footage, we see probably one of the biggest creatures we've ever featured on this channel. Sure, the giant moose from a couple of episodes ago was large, but I doubt it's got anything on the creature moving among the foliage in this footage. Did you see it? What creature comes to mind? An ape? A bear? A Neanderthal? Or a Bigfoot? Most definitely a Bigfoot. There are no other creatures that fit the bill so well. But where was this creature captured? The funny thing is that the uploader refused to share and didn't say why. Perhaps he wanted to protect the creature, or perhaps he wanted it all to himself. I possibly can't be the only one excited about such a find. As exciting as this is, though, it worries me a little bit. If Bigfoots can get this large, what would happen to us if they try to take us over? Well, oh, stop it, Steve. They won't do that, or at least we hope they won't. Think happy thoughts. Either way, you have to agree with me that this footage is truly an impressive capture once you get over the poor quality. In the heart of the woods, nestled within the mystifying embrace of the devil's tramping ground, there lies a peculiar patch of barren land. This desolate circle, spanning many acres, stands as a chilling testament to nature's defiance. Here, the very earth refuses to yield, and no plant can stake its roots, a mysterious void in the midst of lush greenery. Legend has it that something sinister happens here during the night. People say the devil himself visits, carrying out his wicked schemes under the cover of darkness. The malevolence in this place is so strong that it's thought to repel life itself, banishing plants from its cursed soil. But there's an even stranger twist to this tale. Objects left behind in this area seem to vanish into thin air as if the devil himself is taking them. It's believed that anyone brave enough to camp within this unusual space is in for a chilling encounter with malevolent forces beyond imagination. The memories of these unfortunate campers are forever marked by terror, haunting their dreams and driving them to flee for safety in the distant hills. As you look at this cursed ground, you can't help but wonder about the nature of the devil's nightly activities. What sinister deeds occur in this desolate circle? Is it the result of dark magic or just a superstition? The mystery of the devil's tramping ground continues to tempt the curious, encouraging them to contemplate its unexplainable nature. Have you been there? Do you have stories to share? Please do so in the comments section below. Indeed, the woods have always held an air of mystery, harboring secrets that both captivate and confound those who venture into them. This peculiar image discovered in the heart of the forest adds to it. At first glance, it looks like an internal part of some animal, with its pinkish flesh and curiously round upper part, but its lower section sports what looks like limbs, an anatomical feature that suggests this could not be a part of a larger creature. So if it's not part of some larger creature and it exists on its own, what creature could it be? Truth is, no one knows or can even guess. Even the person who found it could not put a name to what he'd seen. After uploading it online, some theorized it was an alien, whereas others said it was an aborted fetus. While we can see where they're all coming from, it's no secret that none of these thoroughly describe what the creature is or how it ended up where it was found. Can you help? This next footage is out of this world spooky. Instead of talking, perhaps you should see it instead. This young boy was filming himself while his dog climbed on the couch behind him, messing with the blinds. Well, at first, after the video was filmed, the boy didn't think anything of it, until one day he was reviewing the footage when he noticed something strange. Behind the blinds outside the window was a strange face peeking at him. The face looked odd with large black eyes. What in the world could that be? Some kind of alien? Because it sure looks like one. Some skeptics say it was a staged video, which could be true, seeing as the strange face looks lifeless like a toy or a costume. But given the recent Russian alien news and sightings, this could very much be a sighting. For our next footage, a camera mounted on what appears to be a boat captures a curious encounter with an unidentifiable creature. Let's take a look. Now, it's unclear whether or not it possesses any form of communication. This creature exhibits dog-like characteristics, sporting white and cream or tan-colored skin. Additionally, its face appears like it has a pair of goggles covering its eyes. Very perplexing if you ask me. But are there truly creatures like this? Is this really real? Well, there's a cerdid and a mythological creature that's known to fit the bill. The Ningen is typically described as having pale, translucent, or bluish-white skin, somewhat resembling a giant underwater ghost or spirit. It's often said to have a human-like face, eyes, and mouth, though the features can vary. Now, there are varied images of what the Ningen looks like, but members of the paranormal community who saw this believe that that's the real deal. A part of me feels like it's an elaborate hoax, but what do I know? Perhaps you can help clear the confusion. What do you think? Gather round the campfire for another spine-tingling tale. As night falls, a camper finds themselves all set for a peaceful sleepover in the heart of the woods. The fire crackles, casting dancing shadows that add to the eerie ambience. But suddenly, this tranquil scene is shattered by an uninvited guest, a cryptic creature lurking in the shadows concealed behind a tree just a stone's throw from the campfire. The camper instinctively reaches for their camera, capturing the unfolding enigma. The creature reveals itself with its long and slender fingers, reminiscent of the iconic Edward Scissorhands. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, a single glowing eye pierces the darkness. Bathed in the warm light of the fire, the true nature of this being becomes clearer, its slender fingers and that piercing eye etching an indelible image in the camper's mind. The encounter is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, and the camper's startled reaction mirrors what many of us would feel in such a situation. The video ends abruptly, leaving us with a haunting question. Would you have the nerve to stay and capture such a moment, or would your instinct to flee prevail? Fun fact: he throws fire at the creature before running. That convinces me this is real, or at least some good acting. What do you think? In a chilling turn of events, the residents of a certain house had their nerves rattled when they reviewed security footage from their property. The footage revealed an unsettling intruder lurking about the premises. Now, when you expect an intruder, you generally hope it's human. At least then you'd know what you're dealing with. But in this spine-tingling scenario, a security camera revealed a peculiar dog-like creature strolling around on its hind legs in the dead of night. So, is it a specter, a paranormal entity, or are our four-legged friends attempting some Toy Story-esque escapades while we're not looking? In the video, we observe a woman carrying her baby as she returns home from town. As she enters her house, an unfamiliar man follows closely behind, attempting to enter the house. Fortunately for the woman, the door is locked by the time he reaches it. An eerie detail is that the man is wearing a face mask. Now, let's watch the video once more. It becomes evident that the man had observed the unsuspecting mother walking home with her child. Upon closer examination, as you focus on the trees behind her, you'll notice that the man had been lurking behind her. This indicates that he may have been stalking her from town to her home or concealing himself in the trees, anticipating her return. His swift movement towards her door suggests an alarming urgency, hinting at intentions that are far from benign. This footage serves as a stark reminder for all of us to prioritize our safety and remain vigilant of our surroundings. While we're attentive to the mysteries and uncertainties, let's not forget to maintain an extra level of awareness concerning the humans around us. It's a solemn realization that human intentions can pose a greater threat than the spectral fears we often harbor. Now moving on to another unsettling video. Take a look at this. This footage was taken in the backyard of the uploader. It starts off like your ordinary everyday Trailcam footage in the stillness of the sunset. But then, if you pay close attention, you'll notice a creature moving by like a gust of wind. Did you see that? Let's take a closer look. There, you see some sort of ghostly figure with its back hunched over. You can see its head and hunched back. It's evident that whatever it is, it's bipedal, that is, it's walking on two legs. The creature appears almost dust-like, and as quickly as it appeared, it disappeared. What could that be? No one knows, not even the uploader. I'm tempted to think this is nothing but an elaborate hoax, given the blurry nature of the footage, but perhaps that's just me. What do you think? In this interesting water meeting, there's a mysterious black creature that looks like a snail without a shell. Many who saw it propose that it might be a sea slug or a similar sea creature. Sea slugs, scientifically called nudibranchs, are a varied group of shellless sea snails. Normally they live in salt water, so finding them in freshwater or swampy places is unusual. Is it possible that this is a species we haven't discovered yet, or does it possess characteristics that make us rethink what we know about marine life? Nature is a constant source of awe and sometimes even a bit of fear. In this footage, massive rocks from the seashore mysteriously start moving toward the land, overtaking the rails and encroaching onto the street. Mind you, this is not an edited footage. Just look at how the people around are mesmerized by it and are keenly taking videos of it. But if it's not edited, what could we be dealing with? We can't say with certainty which it is, but Julius has a few theories for us. According to him, the movement of rocks along the shoreline can be ascribed to the persistent forces of waves and tides shaping the coasts with their rhythmic movements. Another explanation could involve geological events like landslides, orchestrating the fascinating migration of these rocks and highlighting the constantly changing nature of Earth's landscapes. These are all the theories we got from him, but what do you also think? Looking at its tough, overlapping scales and those claws capable of pulling apart concrete, I can understand why it's confident enough to appear in public. But what creature is it? Is it real, or is this just another elaborate hoax to lead us on? Well, at first glance, I thought this might be CGI due to its unusual 3D-like appearance. I was on the verge of dismissing it as fake when a team member identified it as a pangolin. I looked it up, and what do you know, this thing is actually real. They're occasionally referred to as scaly anteaters and belong to the mammal order Pholidota. Pangolins sport distinctive overlapping tough scales. Their unique dietary preference revolves around consuming ants and termites. Curious about how they manage this feat? It's all thanks to their remarkably elongated, sticky tongues. And that's not all. Whenever they sense a threat, they're able to roll up into a protective ball. Sadly, despite their scales serving as their primary defense, pangolins are considered endangered species in Asia and Africa. Fascinating, isn't it? Consider this a small educational tidbit in case you weren't familiar with this magnificent creature. And yes, you're welcome. If you have time, look up the Texas rat dragon. Have you ever encountered any of these creatures? Please share your experience in the comments section. We'd love to hear it. Now, stepping away from our bonus footage, which is quite the mystery, at least for you, we have another one for you that's truly mysterious. Take a look. Do my eyes deceive me, or does that look like a dinosaur? It's hard to tell if it's a pteranodon versus a pterodactyl. One of these creatures has teeth and the other doesn't. If you know which is which, you can state it in the comments section. We'll be marking the ones that are right in the comments section. But back to the footage. Is that really an extinct dinosaur flying in the sky? Well, part of me doesn't think so. However, some paranormal enthusiasts believe the government may be experimenting with these extinct creatures. What do you think? This next clip comes all the way from an icy mountain in the coded location. Pay attention to it. You see it, don't you? The silhouette of a person. Being able to make out the person from that distance is quite remarkable. And by that, this is what I mean. A human would have been barely visible, but this person or being stands out, which could only mean he's not normal human size, but ginormous. Is this evident of giants, or could it be the legendary Yeti? Delving deeper into the intrigue, some theorists suggest a conspiracy surrounding the existence of giants, proposing that these colossal beings may have a clandestine presence in remote regions. Speculations range from ancient myths and legends to alleged cover-ups by secretive organizations aiming to keep the existence of giants hidden from the public eye. What do you think, though? Skinwalkers are shape-shifting creatures. They can take the form of any being and live among us. However, there is a subtle detail that gives away their true nature. Take a look at this footage. For instance, someone captured this dog on the street, and it looks like your everyday dog. But a closer look and you'll notice something uncanny about its appearance. Did you see it? Yeah, many who saw the footage believe that this could be a skinwalker attempting to imitate a dog but missing the mark, particularly in the eyes. If that's true, then this woman has got to get this thing away from her. What do you think, though? Next, we have another group of YouTubers, this time from the channel Lomar Men's, who went into the Dagger Woods deep in the night to investigate the alleged sightings of Wendigos, but got more than they bargained for. In the footage, we see a guy and a girl filming with their cameras when all of a sudden they are spooked by a strange noise. Instead of taking the hint and aborting their mission, these guys followed the sound deeper into the woods. As they got nearer, they noticed small rocks being thrown at them from deep in the woods, but that was still not enough warning. The crew ventured deeper into the woods when suddenly one of them fell to the ground in terror after spotting something in the darkness.
This is gonna be an adventure and a half. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What?
Hello?
Did you see something dark?
Something was just by that tree.
Unfortunately, the camera didn't capture what he saw, but his petrified reaction speaks volumes. Do you think he saw the Wendigo he came looking for, or he spotted something far more sinister? Or could it be that this was all a hoax for the sake of garnering views? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Do you believe in ghosts? If you've ever answered no, then it's perhaps because you haven't come across our next footage. Watch.
Right there, looked like something dark formed.
In this clip, a female YouTuber who is out looking for a sense of the supernatural starts feeling like there's a strange presence out with her in the backyard. She senses a presence watching her from the darkness, lurking with an ulterior motive to invade her space. Undeterred, she remains in the backyard, attempting to discern the nature of the presence. After scanning the area with a flashlight with no results, she switches to an alternative approach using a spirit box. Just in case you're unfamiliar with it, it's a device believed to facilitate communication with the deceased. Some way, somehow, this approach appears to yield results, as she receives signals and responses from whatever entity is present. The spirit box transmits phrases like, "We're still protecting you," "dying," and these unsettling responses affirm the presence of something beyond the ordinary, validating her initial instincts. Is there truly another world out there, and are her ancestors reaching out to save her from evil? Could it be another entity altogether making fun of her, or is the whole thing simply an elaborate hoax? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to hear them, especially if you have experience with this kind of thing. Trail capture of one of our all-time favorite cryptids, Bigfoot. If there has been any footage that shows the intelligence and industriousness of Bigfoot, this is definitely up there with it. In this footage, we see what looks like a ginormous bipedal with fur all around it, stopping for a drink, albeit carefully. It lifts its head and looks in the direction of the camera. I'm pretty sure it sees it and then starts to walk away. But do you notice something weird? This Bigfoot doesn't look like the others. It's quite unique in its build and mannerisms. Do you see it too, or am I just seeing things? Talk about being in the right place at the right time. An unintentional Bigfoot sighting came to light when a YouTuber renowned for his vehicle reviews took a four-wheeler for a spin. While he was focused on his review, he inadvertently filmed what many believed to be a Bigfoot. If you look closely at the left side of the road among the trees, you'll spot a mysterious dark-furred creature strolling into the woods. It's almost as if Bigfoot decided to make a cameo appearance while the camera was rolling. In the past, these creatures were quite elusive, and it took a great deal to capture them. But now, all it takes is to just be in the woods or mountains at the right time, and you might be lucky to catch a glimpse of one. Either that, or we have some really convincing fakes out there. Prepare yourself for a chilling sight, a colossal humanoid figure, its presence hauntingly etched against the backdrop of an open field. The capture you see was uploaded by the user Kiwasibor on YouTube. In the capture, we see a creature that looks emaciated with pale skin and sunken eyes. Its mouth is slightly ajar, as if in a silent cry. The uploader didn't give any context to the image, leaving the viewers itching with speculations about what this creature could be. It's reminiscent of the Fallout series, but the question remains, is this a hoax or a genuine sighting of a starving giant? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. In Sonoma, California, a hiker was having a blissful day strolling through the lush green landscapes when he unexpectedly encountered an unsettling presence that sent shivers down his spine. He quickly concealed himself among the tall grass, instinctively reaching for his device to capture this bizarre encounter. In the footage, a humanoid creature comes into view, pacing back and forth with an aura of aggression, all the while vigorously swinging its long arms. The creature looms at an imposing height of approximately 7 or more feet, and its entire body appears to be covered in a dense coat of brown fur. Overwhelmed by the encounter, the frightened hiker couldn't help but wonder if he'd stumbled upon the legendary enigma known as Bigfoot. The footage points to that, but its authenticity is one that remains up for debate. What do you think? Is this a true video of Bigfoot, or is someone just messing with the paranormal community? In the brilliant light of a midday sky, a captivating spectacle unfolds right before our eyes. Up high, the heavens appear to be in motion, with wisps of gas gathering and swirling, creating a dreamlike show. However, amidst this celestial dance, there's an object hanging in the sky. It stands out from the sun, which is casting its bright rays as usual over the town. This object has a distinctive circular shape that piques our curiosity. It reminds us of a UFO sighting by a fellow traveler on an aeroplane. Could this be another visit from an extraterrestrial spacecraft defying the laws of our earthly skies? Or maybe it's something else entirely, a radiant orb carrying a celestial being gliding through dimensions beyond our comprehension. We've always interpreted these orbs to mean spiritual activity, but recent sightings have us reconsidering them to be extraterrestrial. What about you? In the heart of the woods, in the still of the night, an eerie encounter took place. A lone wanderer stumbled upon a bizarre creature perched precariously on a broken fence. The creature's most striking feature was its eyes, which emitted an unsettling, ominous glow. The creature's face conveyed a sense of menace, an unspoken warning to all who dared approach. Its very presence seemed to whisper, "Get any closer, and you'll regret it." What could this mysterious creature be? I've heard a lot of mysteries and explanations, but I think it's a stray dog whose territory the man might have walked into. Now, I know some of you might crucify me for this assertion, but take a critical look and tell me that does not look like a dog. Have you ever heard of the legend of the giant wolf? And no, I'm not referring to Fenrir of Norse mythology. I'm referring to an actual wolf that exists. Have a look. The footage starts off as a recording of some nice lands, but it soon ends up revealing something a bit more. While the video starts off by showing a canine running towards the one filming, we soon realize once it's in full view that it's large. But how could a wolf be so big? If you have to wonder that, then clearly you haven't heard of the legendary Wahila. The Wahila is a creature of northern legend, a creature that inhabits the remote wilderness of the Arctic tundra. It's often described as a massive wolf, larger and more imposing than any other wolf species. Its fur is typically dark, and its presence is an eerie and rare sight in the frozen wilderness. I don't know about you, but looking at this creature, I have a feeling that the creature in the footage might be a Wahila. What do you think? Now for something bone-chilling, literally. If you have a weak stomach, you might want to skip ahead for the next 30 seconds. If you are still here, it means you can stomach it. This video clip exposes a haunting scene in a graveyard. In this scene, we see open graves and scattered bones that paint a grim picture. In the footage, two individuals discuss the disturbing trend of townspeople raiding the graveyard for items used in rituals. Imagine having your grave robbed and exposed in the open because someone robbed it. Imagine your bones being put in polythene bags and left in there. But why would people want to rob the graves of others? Why steal their bones? What motivates such actions, and how desperate must people be to resort to breaking into a sacred resting place for malevolent purposes? Does anyone care to explain? Because this is simply unbelievable. As this cemetery's secrets are exposed, it leads me to wonder, are all other cemeteries the same? Do their deceased suffer the same fate as these unfortunate souls by having their remains desecrated? We invite you to share your insights into the comments section, particularly the consequences of such acts in your culture. Before we move on, though, a moment of silence for the departed souls. Next, we have an intriguing oceanic encounter where an odd-looking reptilian creature is spotted with its head above the water. The creature bears a resemblance to a large lizard, akin to a Komodo dragon. However, the fascinating aspect is that traditional Komodo dragons are primarily terrestrial and not known for their swimming abilities. Seeing a head that looks like a lizard coming out of the water does seem strange. It's however crucial to think about the chance that it might be a different kind of creature or an instance of convergent evolution. This is when unrelated species evolve similar characteristics on their own. Marine iguanas, for instance, are known to swim and are found in the Galapagos Islands. These reptiles have adapted to life in the water, utilizing their tails for propulsion. But without any more details on the location of this sighting and clearer footage, we cannot really be sure of what we're dealing with. Does anyone have an idea? This person was captured at the moment when a sea of mud just erupted through a brick wall and gushed into the streets, flooding the whole place. Mud flows, also known as mudslides or debris flows, can occur in areas with loose soil or sediment, particularly after heavy rainfall or during geological events like earthquakes. This poses a significant hazard to communities as they can swiftly inundate homes and infrastructure. In this case, I think it was after rainfall because the weather looked cloudy, or am I just seeing things?
There's nothing there. It's like not a piece of hair, but it's like this line. I know I'm not crazy. What is that?
This next one I'm gonna need your help with. A lady allegedly noticed a line in her pool. If you know anything about water, you know lines don't just form in it unless there's something in it to cause the line or something above it to cause a reflection. If you watch the clip, you should see the lines, but here's where it gets tricky. The lady insists none of the factors I mentioned earlier exist. The line just appeared over the water. I have a hard time pushing this one down, but well, maybe, just maybe you guys can help us make sense of it.
There's nothing there. It's like not a piece of hair, but it's like this line. I know I'm not crazy. What is that?
Hey! 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 Oh my God!
An elderly couple set out for a peaceful fishing trip, but it turned into a heart-pounding ordeal. As they were on their boat, they noticed a massive ship heading straight toward them. One of them quickly realized the danger, shouting and waving to get the ship's attention, but nothing worked. With no other choice, they jumped overboard just in time before the ship crashed into their small boat. The entire incident was captured on their boat's camera, showing the terrifying collision. What could have caused this near-tragic event? Was the ship's captain asleep at the wheel, or was it an autopilot malfunction? Thankfully, the couple escaped unscathed.
Hey! 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 Oh my God!
A man was taking a walk with his dog during spring sunset when something strange happened. The dog's behavior suddenly took an anxious turn as it fixated on something in the distance. Not wanting to miss anything unusual, the owner turned the camera in that direction. There, at a noticeable distance, was a figure, eerily stationary and facing them. What made this even more unsettling was that the dog, usually quick to bark at potential threats, remained silent but visibly agitated. It was as though the dog sensed something about that figure, something beyond the human eye. The true identity and intent of the mysterious figure remains shrouded in uncertainty. It could have been an innocent passerby, but the dog's instinctual reaction suggests there might have been something more ominous at play. Out on the serene deck of a water body, a curious fisherman finds himself face to face with an utterly perplexing sight. His camera captures the puzzling appearance of a strange sea creature unlike anything he's ever seen before. This aquatic mystery boasts a set of unusual and unsettling physical features as if it's experiencing some form of deep-seated discomfort. Its most striking characteristic is a vivid pink tail which stands out starkly against the backdrop of the water. The creature's body exudes an inexplicable sense of unease, leading some to wonder if it could be the result of a bizarre mutation. Yet amid the myriad speculations, one question remains. What on earth or in the water is this unknown creature? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps us out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. So please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. We still don't have the more convincing answer for our previous bonus question, but maybe this one might change that. Can anyone tell if this is real or fake? If it's real, what's its real name, and why does it look like that? Let's see how many of us can tell a conspiracy theory from the truth. All the best.
If you're in one of these alien crafts,
that's what you're gonna see.
You're gonna see exactly this. Not an exaggeration, not some type of Hollywood mock-up.
Exactly.
From a first-hand witness.
Now this one actually had me puzzled for a long while. He claims this is exactly what you would find on an alien spaceship. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is crazy. Well, if you said that, then it's only because you don't know who that man is. Meet Bob Lazar, a controversial figure who claims to have worked on reverse engineering alien spacecraft at the secure facility called S4, allegedly near Area 51 in the late 1980s. He's described advanced propulsion systems using Element 115, which he said powered the craft through anti-gravity technology by bending space-time. Despite his claims sparking widespread interest in UFOs and Area 51, Lazar's credibility is hotly debated due to inconsistencies in his educational and professional background, which critics attribute to fabrication, while supporters believe it's part of a government cover-up. His story remains a cornerstone of modern UFO lore, blending intrigue, skepticism, and speculation about extraterrestrial technology and government secrecy. If his stories are true, then perhaps he's really been in a spaceship and knows what the interior is. If not, then, well, let's not talk about that. On to the next clip.
If you're in one of these alien crafts,
that's what you're gonna see.
You're gonna see exactly this. Not an exaggeration, not some type of Hollywood mock-up.
Exactly.
From a first-hand witness.
Hidden among the tranquil woods of England, where ancient trees and age-worn rocks stand as sentinels of nature's timeless beauty, a peculiar phenomenon awaits those who venture deep into the forest. Carved into the bark of trees and etched into the rugged surfaces of rocks, a gallery of faces emerges, each with its own unique expression and enigmatic aura. Now, you might think these faces tell tales of a bygone era, relics of ancient civilizations, or symbols of nature's mystique. But the truth behind these enigmatic carvings is as surprising as it is simple. They're the work of modern artists, driven by their passion for creativity and a desire to infuse the wilderness with a touch of the surreal. Yes, these faces have been carved relatively recently, and their origin is rooted in the minds of contemporary artisans, not ancient dwellers or mysterious forest spirits. But still, the thought of a face on a rock or a tree watching you in the woods is creepy or exciting depending on the kind of person you are, if you know what I mean. This adventurous motorcyclist was weaving through a forested path, sporting a trusty helmet camera to capture the ride. Little did he know, he captured something spine-tingling, only discovered during the footage review. Hold on tight, and let's take a look. Zoom in on the left side of the screen amidst the forest trees and you'll spot it, a tall, pale figure lurking in the shadows, keenly watching our two-wheeled adventurer. Blink, and you might just miss it. The questions abound. What on earth could this lurking presence be? It's pretty tall, towering above the trees. Could it be the elusive Slender Man, or might it be something entirely different? Tell me what you think in the comment section. A man was out late one night, and as he rounded a curb, he noticed something unusual on the road ahead. It was a humanoid figure walking along the street. While it resembled a human in shape, its texture and appearance were ethereal, almost ghostly. The man quietly observed and filmed the figure as it moved away, its eerie presence lingering in the atmosphere. Was this a wandering spirit, a ghost, or something else entirely? Encounters like these often leave more questions than answers, but what do you think this could be? An observer at the beach captured a group of geese flying gracefully over the sea. They started in formation, shifting midway into a straight line. So far, nothing unusual, right? But then, mid-flight, the geese just vanish into thin air. Looking back at the footage, it's clear there's no mist clouds or obstructions that could explain their disappearance. One moment they're there, and the next, it's like they were erased. Could this be a glitch in the simulation, as some suggest, or perhaps a natural optical illusion caused by light refraction over the water? In a chilling incident in the ocean, a woman's leisurely swim turned into a heart-pounding moment of danger. As she gracefully navigated the waves, the atmosphere shifted when concerned onlookers began frantically shouting warnings for her to exit the water. Caught off guard, the woman, fortunately not too far from the safety of the shore, responded promptly to the urgency in the voices around her. As she made her way to the beach, a collective gasp echoed through the bystanders. What emerged from the water was a dark shadow, unmistakably a shark, stealthily trailing her from a distance. That is why it's important to stay vigilant and respect the untamed environment of the sea, because encounters with marine life can swiftly transition from serene to potentially hazardous. Now let's have a dose of interdimensional action. This black hole appeared in the night sky. It has this white ring around it. What could it be? While pondering such events is intriguing, some people approach them with a scientific mindset, claiming that this could be just an illusion. Optical illusions, atmospheric occurrences, or celestial events can sometimes create visually stunning yet natural displays in the night sky. But this right here feels eerie and looks like a portal, some sort of gateway to another planet or dimension, or even alien transport to our world. Who knows? The UFO talk is just so prevalent these days. I won't be surprised if a saucer emerges from this black hole in the sky.
No. ¿Sí vieron lo que era? Hace muchos años, pero resulta que... Hijo de su puta madre, ¿qué es esa?
You must be wondering who this woman is. Well, let's just say the first time I watched the clip, I wondered too. A few seconds into the clip, I got my answer. She's one of those individuals who like to dare spirits to show themselves if they are real. Why do I say that? Well, she visited an area that's known to be haunted by a little girl. Nobody knows the story behind the girl haunting the place, but she wanted to see it for herself. So, she walked around the area, filming herself talking, hoping this little girl would show up. Surely enough, she noticed that there was a girl, or at least the spirit of a girl, following her. She eventually left the place to attend a party with her brother. The party was going great till she noticed the spirit had followed her there. She panicked, but didn't want to ruin the party for everyone. She didn't tell anyone till it was over. Funny enough, this spirit did nothing other than let the lady know she had followed her. Do you think she's forgiven her, or was that just a warning to let the lady know she knows where she lives? Please share your thoughts.
No. ¿Sí vieron lo que era? Hace muchos años, pero resulta que... Hijo de su puta madre, ¿qué es esa?
Rafa, não é busca meu. Ficha aí, cara, eu falei, mano. Pega o bagulho, pega, Rafa. Ai, ai, ai. Na facada, Rafa. Caralho, mano.
This footage is definitely something out of a horror film. 3 men running frantically in the woods, one being overtaken by a bizarre creature. It's the kind of thing that keeps you on edge. According to the description, the creature is bipedal with a dog-like snout, attacking one of the men while his friend grabs a knife to defend him. However, as dramatic as it sounds, the setup raises a few red flags. The shaky camera work, the convenient timing of the attack, and the unclear visuals often point to something staged. It's not uncommon for people to create such footage for viral content or entertainment purposes. While it's certainly chilling and imaginative, the lack of clarity and over-the-top details make it feel less like a genuine encounter and more like a scripted event. What do you think? A real encounter or an attempt to create the next urban legend?
Vem, tá mordendo, vem. Desgraça, que isso? Você deu facada, Rafa, você deu facada. Eu dou uma facada nele, mano, ele morreu. Vem, Vinícius, tá saindo bem. Roubaram meu carro. Vamos, Vinícius, vamos, você tá bem.
Now take a look at this creature right here. What would you do if you saw this in your house? There is no way I would sleep that night. It's a dog, clearly a dog, but there is a strangeness to its appearance that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's like a human, which is quite unusual. That is not a dog, I tell you. It's a skinwalker or something, because just look at this. Guys, am I just being paranoid, or do you see it too? If you thought that was odd, take a look at this one. As the leaves sway in the wind, this tree takes a strange shape, like it was some sort of creature. It looks more like a bear to me, which is quite the eerie spectacle. I know, it could just be my human trait to see familiar things in inanimate objects. If that's not the case and there's something more ominous happening here, then whoever lives where this is recorded needs to pay attention, don't you think? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode.
Am I glitching? Or what's going on? What? Who copied and pasted? What?
I'm not exactly sure what to say about this. The individual who sent it in insists it's a glitch and that their traffic lights aren't set up like this. Personally, I think that's a lot of traffic lights for such a simple road, but hey, it's an interesting world out there. Perhaps there's somewhere on this planet where this traffic setup is normal. Can the experts here chip in? If there's not a place like this, can we all agree this is one of the weirdest glitches that we've ever seen on this channel?
Am I glitching? Or what's going on? What? Who copied and pasted? What?
Speaking of two-faced individuals, have you seen trees with faces? No? Take a look.
There's the moon. But look at the trees. Don't they seem like they have faces?
Tell me I'm not the only one seeing things. You see these faces on the trees too, right? Now that's not normal now, well, is it? According to the individual who uploaded the clip, he had noticed the phenomenon for a while now and thought he was just seeing things. He then decided to record instances when he would see trees with faces and share them online. Surely enough, once he began sharing, others did too, which led to a long thread of trees with faces. What do you guys think about this? Do these trees have some sort of special abilities? Are they sentient? Are they spying on us? Or are we just seeing things due to pareidolia? Feel free to share your thoughts on this one.
There's the moon. But look at the trees. Don't they seem like they have faces?
In the epic showdown between a dog and a lion, you'd naturally think the lion would have the upper paw. However, the outcome of this encounter might surprise you. It all began when a curious pit bull ventured into the woods, seemingly on a mission to establish some territorial authority. While the dog was busy exploring, a stealthy mountain lion sneaked up from behind, preparing to strike. But as the lion leapt, the dog turned around in the nick of time and counterattacked with impressive determination. The lion, perhaps underestimating the pit bull's fierce spirit, quickly retreated, leaving the dog victorious in this unexpected showdown. Wait, did I say a pit bull? That's Frenchy, isn't it? Can anyone out there clarify this for me? Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to making it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. In this intriguing video clip captured by a security cam on a private property, the scene starts with a seemingly ordinary setting, just a big leaf in view, but then things take an eerie twist. Two glowing orbs suddenly manifest beside a tree, casting an unsettling, unnatural light in the darkness. It's as if something from beyond is peeking into our world. These ethereal lights ignite and surge into the woods like a portal to the unknown, leaving behind a trail of ghostly luminescence. Our world is no stranger to mysteries, but this encounter raises chilling questions. What's behind these enigmatic manifestations? Are we witnessing a glimpse into the supernatural? Could those have been alien ships moving at supersonic speeds? Share your thoughts, but beware, they might be listening. Are demons real? Before you say yes or no, take a look at this clip.
The hell is that? The hell? The hell is that?
Do you see that? Does that look like any creature you ever seen in your life? No, right? Well, the individual who uploaded this insists it's a demon. He claims strange things have been happening and he just couldn't place his fingers on why and how they were happening. He decided to take a good look around, and that's when he discovered this. He believes it's a demonic being lurking around the area, but not many of his folks agree with him. He thinks they're just scared and find it easier to say demons don't exist rather than face them. He's been collecting opinions on this, and views have been divided. Which side will you pick on this one, demonic or not? Let's hear your thoughts.
Grabbing a lemon, right? I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half once more right there. You can see me cut it, right? I go get a bag. Okay, I grab the bag, I go back for the lemon, and I grab the lemon, and I touch it, and I'm like, why is it not cut in half?
Next up, we got this young girl who cuts a lemon in 2 equal halves. She then picks one of those halves and further divides it. Once she's done, she grabs a bag to put them in, and she's met with the surprise of her life. Somehow, the half she cut had glitched back together. She was so shocked she went for the security cam footage to confirm she'd cut it, and she had indeed done so. This made her believe she was dealing with some glitch in the Matrix. Watch the clip again and let us know what you think.
Grabbing a lemon, right? I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half once more right there. You can see me cut it, right? I go get a bag. Okay, I grab the bag, I go back for the lemon, and I grab the lemon, and I touch it, and I'm like, why is it not cut in half?
Late-night drives through desolate roads often have a sense of solitude and calm, offering a break from the hectic day. However, occasionally these peaceful moments can be disrupted by unexpected and chilling encounters. Such was the case for one driver who experienced a hair-raising incident that left him questioning the laws of reality. As the driver cruised along the dimly lit road, the headlights illuminated a peculiar figure standing in the middle of the path. It was undoubtedly a person, or at least it appeared to be. What caught the driver's attention was the black cloth draped over this mysterious individual, concealing their identity and features except for their shoulders, which were visible beneath the dark shroud. As he approached to investigate, he tried to remove the black cloth, only to find that there was no one underneath. The mysterious figure had vanished into thin air, leaving the driver both puzzled and spooked. Was it a ghostly apparition or something else altogether? Share your thoughts with us, especially if you believe it's a hoax, because someone, not me, but someone close to me, thinks it's a hoax. In the midst of deep darkness concealed in a shroud of mystery, this black and white footage reveals a creature that leaves us in a state of uncertainty. At first glance, it resembles a cat, although it's oddly missing a tail. The enigmatic shades in the recording offer us little more than a pair of radiant eyes glowing like otherworldly orbs. In the world of the unexplained, there are various theories. Some suggest that it might be a cat under the influence of some supernatural force caught in an otherworldly twist. Others propose that it could be an effect of the camera distorting reality and turning it into a perplexing enigma. Amid all of this uncertainty, there are whispers of a more unsettling possibility. A mountain lion concealed in the obscurity of the night, hiding its true identity. We can go on and on, but looking at it, what do you think we're dealing with? Tell us in the comments section. A man recently bought a new house and moved in not too long ago, but soon after settling in, he started experiencing some strange things happening around the place. And you already know how I feel about buying houses that might be haunted. It's a no from me. But this guy, he didn't seem to mind at all. The next time something weird happened, he decided to film it. He was in the living room, picking out something to watch, and his camera was already rolling. That's when he noticed the lights leading to the bathroom hallway started to flicker. Curious, he got up and walked over, and that's when it happened. Right there in the open doorway to the bathroom, a dark figure suddenly peeked its head out and looked straight at him. Now here's the part that gets me. He didn't even freak out. Instead, he calmly talked to whatever it was and rushed inside to check behind the wall, but it was gone. No one was there. He steps back out, and that same figure shows up again. Now, I don't know about you, but if a shadow figure started popping up in my hallway, I'm packing and sleeping somewhere else. But hey, not this guy. What would you do if something like this happened in your new home?
Who are you? I'm not gonna hurt you. Leave my lights alone. No.
That's an airplane that's going on. Oh my god.
It's an asteroid for sure, dude. A meteor shower? No, it's an asteroid that just exploded when it hit the fucking, what's it called? Atmosphere.
Moving on from that, we take to the skies where we see something that you don't typically see. At first, I thought it was a shooting star, but clearly it's not, and it's got smaller orb-like structures around it. Unlike many of the processed videos we see, this one seems to have unfiltered audio with a lot of wind and comments in the background, which gives it some legitimacy. Now, the individual who allegedly recorded and uploaded this didn't share any more information because he didn't have any. He had questions, and the community had theories. He initially thought it was an asteroid, and he can even be heard saying that in the clip. The community didn't, however, share his view. Some believed this was a man-made craft making a re-entry. Others thought it was aliens. A few in the community asked whether it was filmed and wondered if it could be SpaceX. The uploader, however, didn't respond. It's almost like he vanished after posting. Some think the government got him, whilst others think he simply made the whole clip up. Hard to say which it is, but what do you think?
Asteroid hit the atmosphere.
This footage right here is one of the trippiest I have ever seen. A man was driving when he noticed something strange about a pedestrian. Watch closely. It's a man taking off his jacket, But then this happens. Look again. Another man in a red hoodie seems to appear out of nowhere and casually walks by him. How is this even possible? You can't blame it on the camera angle because before the red-hooded figure shows up, it's clear that no one else is in the frame besides the man with the jacket. So what are we looking at here? Is it cleverly edited footage, or could there be something more mysterious going on? Next, we've got an exciting innovation update. Scientists in Japan have developed tiny robots the size of ants. Made from iron shavings, these remarkable creations operate within a rotated magnetic field. What's even more impressive is that these ant bots can be controlled remotely and tasked with various jobs. With further advancements, they're expected to perform groundbreaking tasks such as clearing blocked arteries, potentially eliminating the need for invasive surgeries. This could revolutionize medicine and pave the way for countless other applications. Just think about it. Being able to avoid major surgery just because of this innovation. Oh, this is a future I want and certainly can't wait for. Julius, on the other hand, is a bit worried. He claims that evil men could utilize these things for evil purposes, including assassinations. Scary thought, I know, but ignore Julius. Hopefully it won't come to that. You know how people talk about frequencies, how different types can affect the body, the mind, and even emotions? Well, this video might just be a perfect example. A baby was crying non-stop in bed when one of the parents brought out a singing bowl, the kind used in sound therapy. They gently held it over the baby and struck it softly with a stick. The bowl gave off a deep, soothing frequency, and within seconds, the baby completely calmed down, then drifted off to sleep. These kinds of techniques were used a lot back in the day. Frequencies were meant for healing, for calming the mind and body. But strangely, these methods have been pushed to the side, even banned in some modern settings. And that raises the question, why would something so gentle and clearly effective be dismissed unless there's something they don't want us to know? A couple recently caught something very strange on their baby monitor one night, and it's left a lot of people with chills. According to them, everything was normal. They'd just put their baby to sleep and were keeping an eye on the monitor like any cautious parent would. But then, something happened. In the footage, a bright light suddenly appears in the nursery. It wasn't coming from the window or a lamp. It was right there inside the room. The light seemed to take shape almost like a human figure, and it stood right over the baby's crib. For a few moments, it just hovered there, almost like it was looking down at the child. They revealed that the baby's grandparents had passed not long ago, and in their hearts they believe that this strange glowing presence was one of them. A grandparent coming back just to check in, maybe to bless the child, maybe just to be close one last time. While some people might brush it off as a camera glitch or a play of light, the way the figure formed and how it stayed so still, it just didn't feel like some random fluke. And honestly, wherever you believe in spirits or not, there's something deeply comforting about the idea that loved ones can still visit, even if just for a moment. What do you think? Up next is a clip from a family that have just moved into a house over a century old. Everything seemed normal at first, but as they settled in, strange things started happening. One quiet night, as the family was getting ready for bed, an eerie sound shattered the stillness, a loud neighing coming from their yard. The father, confused because, well, they didn't own a horse, decided to investigate. He headed to the living room and peered out of the window. At first, there was nothing but darkness. But as his eyes adjusted, he spotted it, a faint, shadowy outline moving across the yard. Grabbing his camera, he managed to film what might be one of the most chilling things we have ever seen. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get the picture. I mean, take a closer look at the footage. You can just make out what seems to be the ghostly figure of a horse gliding through the yard. Considering the age of the house and the odd experiences the family have already encountered, it's not hard to imagine that this could be the restless spirit of a horse that once lived and maybe even died on the property years ago. Some in the community feel it's a visit from the past of the property, whereas others think the man's overreacting and it's probably nothing but a shadow. We don't have to take that word for it, though, because you've also seen the clip, so what do you think? Would you share your birthday cake with a ghost? This woman was celebrating a 31st birthday, happily sitting behind her cake while her family filmed and sang for her. Just as the song was about to end, most of the candles on the cake blew out, leaving only 3 for her to blow out herself. The woman was visibly shocked, and you can even hear her family's surprised reactions in the background of the video. Watching the way the candles went out, it's obvious that they weren't blown out naturally, but if not, who or what could have done it? Could it have been a ghost joining in on the celebration? This next footage was captured high above Texas by a pilot flying at 45,000 feet. He noticed a strange light flickering in the sky, just hovering there. At first, it was a single light glowing faintly, and then it simply vanished, but that was not the end of it. Shortly after, 2 more lights appeared, floating in the same area. No one had a solid explanation for what these lights could be. The most popular theory is UFOs, just like many of the strange, shiny orbs we've seen in the sky before. However, some skeptics point out that as the camera moves, so do the lights. This leads them to believe it might just be a reflection on the camera lens, not actual glowing orbs in the sky. But even then, the timing, the way they disappear and reappear, well, it's all a little too eerie.
Wait. Well, it stops position, and then it goes away.
What is that?
And then there's 2 more.
Where?
Right below it.
Where? Point to where there's another one.
Remember that video from a while ago, the one with those strange underground sounds? Well, we might just have another one. This time it comes from Kentucky.
I finally found it again after like 3 weeks. Listen to this. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's pretty windy.
A man was out for a walk when he started hearing something odd. He pulled out his phone and recorded what sounded like this strange mechanical heartbeat-like thumping. It's not muffled either. It's clear, rhythmic, and deep. Although like a grunt, but machine-like at the same time. No one around could tell where it was coming from. Nothing was visible, just the sound echoing from somewhere beneath the ground. This has kicked off a wave of theories and speculation. Some skeptics think it's nothing more than underground construction machines digging tunnels, maybe a pipeline or even secret transportation system. And to be fair, that could make sense in some places. But others aren't quite buying that explanation at all. They believe this is something much deeper. One of the more intriguing theories is that it sounds like it's coming from an underground civilization. Yeah, you heard that right. People are saying this might be evidence of a hidden city beneath our feet, one that's been there for ages but is now beginning to reveal itself. Then there are the doomsayers, the folk who think this is some warning sign like pressure building beneath underground, something natural and dangerous. An earthquake, a massive sinkhole, or even some unknown disaster waiting to break free. Whatever it is, we still don't have answers. The sound is real, the footage is real, but the source is still a mystery.
Pretty windy.
Who's there?
Dude, what the
Take a look at this eerie footage shared by a man who woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of his piano playing. Feeling unnerved, he grabbed his phone and crept into the living room to investigate. To his shock, he captured the piano keys moving on their own and even the chair by the piano sliding across the floor. Terrified by this, the man immediately ran out of the house and called a friend. While waiting outside, he noticed the lights in his house flickering erratically, though he never saw any physical activity. After this chilling encounter, he decided to move out of the house for good. He never got to uncover whether the house was truly haunted or not, but I think it's safe to say that it was. Not everyone believes in the supernatural, which might explain why some people ignored the warning signs. Perhaps he bought the house without realizing what he was getting into.
Who's there?
This video has been making rounds on RedNote, the Chinese version of TikTok, but guess where this footage was taken? Not in China, but right here in the US in Los Angeles. Wait, did I call RedNote the Chinese version of TikTok? Or isn't TikTok also from China? Don't mind me, I was just thinking aloud. Now take a look at this craft. It looks eerily similar to the ships we see in sci-fi movies, doesn't it? Its sleek, futuristic design has left many people stunned. But here's the thing. No one has come forward to provide details about this craft, its purpose, or even where it was engineered. Could it be a secret government project, advanced tech from a private company, or something else entirely? We got another strange UFO sighting that was shared by an observer flying over the Atlantic Ocean. This time, it wasn't just a light, it was a glowing red formation behind the clouds. From the footage, it seems like some kind of shape or pattern hiding just behind the clouds layer, but it's hard to say exactly what it is. Some people believe it looks a lot like a UFO or even a fleet of them. Interestingly, a few pointed out that the light formation kind of resembles the Pleiades star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters, and honestly, they're not wrong. You can kind of see the resemblance. But what's throwing everyone off is the color, that intense red glow, and since it's tucked behind the clouds, we never really get a clear look at what's creating the light. So what do you think? Is it just a weird atmospheric event, or something more? It appears humans are starting to take this whole playing God thing a little too seriously, and depending on how you look at it, that might not be such a bad thing, or it might be terrifying. Scientists have just unveiled something interesting. These adorable, fluffy white wolf cubs, but these aren't your average wolves. These are dire wolves. Yeah, the same dire wolves that went extinct around 13,000 years ago. Using fossil samples and some genetic engineering, researchers have managed to bring them back, not in theory, but in reality. 3 living direwolf cubs. That's right. They've grown them, they're alive, and they're here. And just look at them. Tiny, pure white, and honestly kind of cute, but knowing what they are hits differently. Direwolves were once apex predators, larger, stronger, and more brutal than today's gray wolves. They roamed the lands in packs and dominated wherever they went. So, are we bringing them back just to look at them, or are we starting something much bigger? Because if we can bring back direwolves, what's stopping us from resurrecting other extinct creatures? If you've been on this channel, then you know that the de-extinction of the saber-toothed cats and mammoths is in the works. What could be next? Our human ancestors? Okay, maybe I should pause here and not give them ideas. Imagine standing next to a towering albino white giant, his snowy coat shimmering in the sunlight. This rare beauty isn't just a sight to behold, it's a record-breaking colossus. Meet Donetto, a Chianina bull that tipped the scales at an unbelievable 3,840 pounds. That's over 1,742 kilograms of pure muscle and power. But Donetto wasn't just about size. Bulls of this breed are known for their incredible strength. Picture this. One of these powerhouses could pull loads that would make modern machinery jealous. They were built for endurance and sheer force, traits that farmers have relied on for centuries. Yeah, it's not just the strength or size that makes this story so captivating. It's the perfect blend of rarity, beauty, and history. Albino bulls like this are already a rare sight, but one of these of this size, that's a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. What do you consider Donetto the ultimate symbol of nature's untamed power and elegance? Let us know in the comments section. This next one's got me speechless too. Instead of saying anything, why don't we just take a look? Tell me you saw that. It looks like a human being, or at least a human body flying into the night. But how's that possible? Well, 5 letters. Ghost. At least that's how the original poster described it. This, according to him, was captured by his night vision cameras right outside his door. The being appears to have come from the home and ventures into the dark night. It's nothing short of creepy and has got the community excited. Many cited this as a genuine ghost encounter, well, at least from their point of view. While they chatted on, excited about this great clip, a few logical ones like Julius pointed out that these could just be night vision cameras being exposed to the light. While that's very possible, it doesn't explain the unnatural movement. There's also the option that it was made using CGI and other tech manipulations. I'm gonna resist asking Julius and Aaron about this one and take your expert opinions. What do you think is going on here? In the paranormal community, there's a strong belief in alternate realities, and surprisingly, even some branches of science support the idea. The theory goes that we all have alternate versions of ourselves living out different lives based on the decisions we didn't make. Parallel timelines where everything is the same except just slightly different. A woman recently shared a story online and it's got a lot of people talking. She said she was at the mall casually shopping when she noticed a woman who looked exactly like her. And not just in the face, this woman had the same hairstyle, the same body shape she used to have 15 years ago, but that's not all. The woman had 3 kids with her. 2 of them looked exactly like the children she has now, but the third, well, that one shook her. Years ago, this woman had a miscarriage. The child she lost was a boy, and in this moment, standing in front of her was a woman who looked just like her with 2 familiar children and a 3rd child, a boy who would have been about the same age as the one she lost. She was shocked. But she didn't take any pictures or videos. She just stared, trying to make sense of what she was seeing, and then she ran straight home. She shared an old photograph of herself from back then with her 2 children at the time, saying that they looked exactly the same. But we cannot confirm without this evidence, so could this woman have been an alternate version of herself?
Haircut that I just showed you, but they looked like this. Like I was too stunned to do anything. All I could do was sit there and watch her. Watch me? Us? I don't know. But the even crazier part is there was a boy that was with us. He was a little bit older than my oldest daughter, and the craziest part about that is I had a miscarriage when I was 18. And I knew it was a boy. But I sat there for like 2 seconds and I watched them and they looked so happy. And then reality hit me and I realized like what the fuck is going on, and it scared me and I just took off.
If you love meat, this one's for you. Recently, independent individuals have been examining pre-made meat under high-powered microscopes, and their findings aren't exactly fun. Oh, no, fun isn't quite the right word. Healthy. Yeah, healthy. If you're wondering what I'm blabbering about, these pre-made meats have live parasites in them. I know what you're thinking, but Steve, all meat have parasites in them. That's why we cook them. Well, yeah, but according to these independent researchers, the level of parasites discovered in these meats were bad. Very bad. In other words, the source of the meat was questionable. They didn't mention brands because, well, they didn't want to get sued, but just consider this as an alert or friendly advice to check your meat sources and thoroughly cook them before eating. If you like to have your meat rare or medium rare, well, be careful. Very careful. Speaking of haunted objects, this video was shared by a woman who recently lost her uncle in a tragic motorcycle accident. After the incident, she took his bike, fixed it, and parked it in an alleyway. One day, she found the bike in a different spot, which left her completely baffled. So she reviewed the CCTV footage from the alleyway, and what she saw shocked her. As you can see in the footage, there are several motorcycles parked in the alley. Suddenly, her uncle's bike begins to move on its own. It turns slightly before tipping over and falling to the ground. No one is seen touching it, and the other bikes remain untouched. Could this be her uncle's spirit returning to ride his beloved bike one last time? Or is there some other explanation for this bizarre incident? We can never get enough of the mystery surrounding secret facilities hidden in caves and mountains. It seems like every time we think we've seen it all, something new emerges. I came across 2 intriguing clips of strange entrances found in unexpected places. The first one was captured by a hiker exploring a canyon in Utah. As he wandered, he stumbled upon 2 heavy doors built directly into the mountainside. The doors were reinforced and securely locked, clearly meaning to keep people out. But what stands out most is the second door. It has a surveillance camera mounted above it, watching over the entry. What could be so important to monitor the middle of nowhere? The second clip is equally puzzling. A man, also in the middle of nowhere, found a solitary structure that looked like a simple porta-potty. However, there were no other signs of construction or civilization around it. Strangely enough, He didn't open it to investigate further, leaving us all curious. I mean, sure, I get why he didn't go inside. It's a total nope situation, but come on. We have to know. Are we talking about secret labs conducting experiments no one should know about? Hidden bunkers prepping for some apocalyptic endgame? Or is it something we haven't even imagined yet? And seriously, what's with the heavy surveillance in places that are practically in the middle of nowhere? Who or what are they watching? It's like the mystery keeps layering itself, and now I'm questioning everything. Have you ever seen water set paper on fire? If you asked me this question prior to seeing this clip, I would have laughed at you and asked if you understood how physics and the laws of this world worked. But here we are with a clip, probably from India, showing a couple of men standing in front of a water source, placing paper in front of it, and it actually lights up when the liquid touches the paper. Aaron does not have an explanation for this, and Julius has disrespected me enough to ask him for his views. So I have to fall back on you guys for this one. What's going on here? This footage was captured on a home security camera. A woman had left her kids playing in a room while she attended to something in another part of the house. Suddenly, she heard her daughter crying and rushed to check on her. Everything seemed normal, but the little girl was clearly upset. So she decided to review the security footage, and what she saw left her shaken. The child is sitting in a basket, happily playing, when out of nowhere, this happens. An unseen force aggressively pushed her hand upward, startling the little girl and causing her to burst into tears. Some members of the community argues it's definitely a ghost attack. They cite the unnatural movement of the girl's hands and body as evidence of this truth. Looking at the clip, anyone would be tempted to accept that analogy too, but not Julius. According to Julius, it's possible that the child may have just lost her balance while not expecting to. This can create the motion we saw in the clip. None in the office are having it though. The consensus is that this is a ghost attack. What say you? Technology has advanced to the point where it feels like humans are losing control over their privacy. Take a look at this intriguing yet unsettling footage. A man discovered that his laptop camera had an unexpected ability. It can see through certain types of plastic. He demonstrated this by holding a TV remote up to the camera. To his surprise, the camera revealed the batteries and internal components of the remote, something invisible to the naked eye. This discovery raises disturbing questions. If a simple laptop camera can penetrate plastic, what does this mean for our privacy? Even covering your camera with tape might not be enough if someone manages to exploit similar technology to see through objects. What are your thoughts? This next one comes from Colorado. A few witnesses in a small neighborhood were out one night when they caught this strange-looking creature on camera. It was crouched down on its hind legs, using what looked like its two front limbs to pick things off the ground. Now, when you look closely, this thing looks extremely skinny. Its head looks raw, almost like the skin's been peeled back or bitten off, and that just adds to how freaky it looks. Because it's dark, it's hard to make out clear details, but the silhouette alone is eerie. Some people are convinced this is a cryptid, possibly the legendary chupacabra that's been rumored for years across America. Others think it could be some unknown humanoid creature or even a mutated animal that hasn't been documented yet. But skeptics say it's nothing more supernatural than a bear with mange, and quite frankly, I agree. I personally think without the fur and all the rest of it, a bear would look like that. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us, and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. Yeah, we can't wait to receive what you have. Now do me a favor, share this video with someone you love. Share it with as many people as you can that you love. Share it with people that annoy you. Share it with people that you fancy. Share it with everyone, because we want this channel to go viral. And the only way that can happen is with your help. Take it easy.